Hello, I'm Erin from the Witch of Saturn here with Shanna of Sincerely, Shanna D, and Jay of Iridescent Tarot. We are back with our latest edition of our Marseille study video. We are now on weeks 7 and 8, working on finishing up the majors, and we also went over the aces. So, how's everybody? Let's do a little check-in. How's everybody feeling so far?
Relieved.
Relieved.
That the majors are done?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I still kind of brought that same energy from last week where it was like, let's just get through them. And then once I got through that last one, I felt like so renewed and fresh going into the aces. I was really excited to like make it out of the forest.
That's good. What about you, Shanna?
Very much the same. I know we've kind of talked about the broader picture, the bigger picture versus the smaller picture. And I have realized, like, I didn't realize that that was a thing until you started talking about it. Krista started talking about it. I didn't know that that was like a concept. But yeah, I think I just sort of liked the broad idea of learning Marseille. And then I sort of wanted to take these smaller pieces and learn them as I go versus cramming it all in right now. So yeah,
Hmm.
I'll be honest, I really just skimmed this week's majors. I was like, because I kind of already got it. Like it wasn't
Yeah.
some, obviously it wasn't really new as far as concept goes. So I just skimmed, I highlighted a couple of things and I'm like, okay, like Jay, now I'm like, okay, now I have that stuff in my pocket. Now I can pull it out whenever I want to use it,
Yeah.
open the guidebook, whatever. So that it was kind of a relief, like, okay, I went through and now I can start using it, that way.
Yeah,
I've been,
you made
oh,
your extra video. That was really cool.
oh, you're talking to me?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I had I had a lot of I had a lot of stuff in my head. I was like, I just have to get this all out. It was just kind of flowing through. And I have been thinking about it more since making that as kind of like this zooming in, zooming out, right? And Shanna, I really liked in your comment talking about like the seeds in the garden. And I just like different ways of thinking about like how we learn, especially when it comes to tarot. And like doing this study has kind of helped me to like find to like realize I've realized that about myself from my study of astrology, but I think that in that way I was thinking about, oh, well, this is how I need to learn astrology. And now I'm like, no, this is like how I need to learn. And
Exactly.
yeah, just that like ability to zoom out, then zoom in. I think it's just cool to kind of play around with our different learning processes, and like something like this where we're studying a particular system is just it's so unique. Like you can do whatever you want. It's your study. You know what I
Yep.
mean? Like I kind of did the opposite from what you guys are saying, and I just like went very like in depth into I almost got done with I got through Judgment, Death through Judgment, my notes done. So I was proud of myself for that. I kind of
Wow.
switched it up.
Wait, so you caught up then?
No, I
Oh,
I
darn. I was excited
started.
for you.
No, I scrapped everything
Oh
before
my gosh.
like these weeks. I was like, I will go back and fill those in. I'm going to focus on taking notes for this section so that I would
Yeah.
be, more present in this conversation. So I started with card 13, like death, and took notes on that through Judgment. So yeah, I
Awesome.
probably won't even catch up by the time we're done. I'm okay with that too. Like I don't like to put pressure on myself when it comes to learning. It makes it not fun for me. So I just yeah, I'm okay with that. But I did go like pretty deep into my note taking of these cards and I enjoyed it because I like I had mentioned last time, these are the chunk of majors that I like the best. I find the most interesting. So I was happy to do them.
And we have a break this week, so that might also be helpful. Like I know that you're not trying to rush to catch up, but that is built in, so that will hopefully
Yeah,
be
no, I
really
need it.
helpful.
I'm not going to break. I'm going to be catching up. It will be catch up
Yeah.
period. That's for sure.
Nice. Well, that's great that you made it through Judgment.
Yeah, I was proud. I instead of like I had been kind of doing the reading on my Kindle and then going back and doing notes. So it was kind of like this two-part system. And I scrapped that. I was like, I'm just gonna take notes as I read. I feel like I will get more notes done that way. And
Nice.
it worked.
I kind of split the difference, and I had been doing what you were doing, which is read the whole assignment and then take notes on the whole assignment.
Mhm.
And that like second half of it was like we described last week, it was a slog. So this week I would read like, I don't know, half of what I was supposed to read for that week, take my notes, and then read the second half. And I did find that was easier to keep up with.
Yeah, see, just stuff like that. You switch up your system, like what works best. I think it's just fun to like play with.
Yeah. Yeah, your and Krista's videos were awesome. It was like thinking about your thinking or thinking about your learning process. And I loved hearing about that meta cognition. Yeah.
It's very meta.
Yes.
Mm. So do we have any particular majors that you guys want to talk about that you thought were interesting or
I think
what?
the only one that really stood out to me was the tower. It brought up some points that I hadn't really thought of the tower in that way before. Let me see if I can find it. Here we go. Okay, first of all, in all of these cards, especially the Tarot Day Ozarks, I was so curious what those little dots were in
Mhm.
the image, and I love them. They're like party confetti. But in the book, it talks about it being manna from what was the story?
It's from the like crossing of the desert in some where is it? Medieval pictures of manna that came down for the Israelites when they were crossing the desert, which I
Yeah,
think is food, right? So
yeah,
it's like
yeah.
party treats.
Party treats. Yeah, I love it.
Like I too would like some snacks to
I
fall from the
indeed.
sky.
Yeah. It's like and what was that book? The one where they would bring the drones out and drop the snacks or the supplies for the
Oh my gosh.
Is that a show? Isn't there a
it's
show
the
like
book
that?
it was the book for not Divergence. What was it?
Oh my gosh. I know what you're
The one
talking
with
about. What
Kidman
was
and the
Oh, you're talking about
Mockingbird.
like yeah, the Mockingbird, the Mockingjay.
Yeah. This is so
Hunger
painful.
Games. Hunger Games.
Hunger Games. Yes,
Yeah,
it's like that.
It's just like that.
So I thought that was cool. I liked how they said um they referred to it as being an artificial structure, which was interesting. I don't know, sort of put things into context, but it said perhaps we can see the high-rise tower as symbolizing fantasies of grandeur, and far-fetched plans. The figures are returning to solid ground of reality with modest but productive plans and aspirations. And I never really thought about it that way. I've sort of always just seen it as a destruction, like the beginning of a reset, sort of. And so I didn't really ever take into consideration the people in the card, oddly.
Mhm.
I thought that was cool. That was highlighted for me.
I thought it was interesting that they were touching the ground in
Yeah,
Marseille versus, RWS are very much
true,
a free fall.
true.
Um, I thought that
So, you know how I'm always like watching a million videos and I never know which video things came from? I swear I watched something on this yesterday and I think that it was Ina from Taproot Tarot. First of all, Erin, you need to watch her video that she just posted. It's a Bacchus comparison with four
Ooh,
decks. Did you see this?
no, I didn't. I
Oh
didn't
my
see
gosh.
Taproot. If you didn't send it to me, I did not see it. You have such a knack for fun. I'm always like, where do you find this stuff? Like you're very good at that. Okay, I'm
So
gonna
it's
check
an
it.
hour-long history lesson on your Bacchus Tarot. You're gonna freak.
Oh, I love that.
Uh-huh.
I love
And
that
so
deck.
I
Obsessed
think I'm
with that deck.
yeah, I know it's your fave. So I'm pretty sure that this little tidbit came from that video, but I've watched, that was yesterday. I've watched 10 videos since then, so who
Yeah.
knows? But anyways, somebody said that the dots in the tower card are because back then in the day, they didn't know what lightning looked like. So this is their depiction of lightning. It's like the best that they had that they could come up with in order to depict the image of what lightning is.
Look, how wait. How you
I
gonna
mean,
not
lightning
know
looks
what,
like
how you
lightning.
gonna know that lightning exists, but you don't know what it looks like?
This is listen, I'm just repeating something from an
Oh no, I know.
unknown
I'm just
video.
saying, like it doesn't like I that doesn't make sense to me. Like, wouldn't you know what lightning looks like and have no idea what the fuck it is? Like, it's just terrifying. But
There's some like this artist who created these dots, that is some neurodivergence right there. And then the people in the town are like, what the f is this?
I
That's
appreciate
not what lightning looks like. I'm like, yes, it is.
I I'm just repeating what she or
Yeah, no, no,
somebody
no.
said.
Yeah.
Like it's like the bolts of light, like the flashes of
Yeah.
light.
I think that's cool. I think it's a cool theory. Yeah.
I think that my artistic abilities, it speaks to that because like I can draw this. Like, I can't like I can do that. That's interesting. Well, I liked with the tower the part about what's happening in the top. That point to that top right corner, Jay. Yes, like that stuff coming in.
Hmm.
Um, hold on.
Was that discussed in the book or is that
Yeah,
something else I watched in a video? Okay.
no, it's discussed in the book. Hold on, I'm gonna find it. Uh,
Is it the mouth of God?
The opening of the tower's top, penetration of energy.
yes, what section's that under?
That's on page 176, the last paragraph before the tower is built slowly. The tower opens up to heaven.
Okay.
And then it's that last paragraph.
Oh, yeah, there it is. So divine energy spilling out from the tip of the circular object in the top right corner and entering the tower from above. So it's like that's divine grace, like spiritual energy, that heavenly grace. I never knew what that was. That was like a new tidbit for me that I liked.
Mm-hmm.
And I like that idea of it being like a temple that then opens. So it's almost like the manna comes down for the people from
Yeah,
heaven, and then like that spiritual energy pours down into the temple,
Mm.
which
I'm
is
highlighting.
interesting, right?
Yeah.
Hmm.
And like, okay, so traditionally that would be the lightning, that divine energy, that divine grace. Like in the
Mm-hmm.
RWS, it's lightning, but in this, it's like God or whatever
Right.
high power you want to call it, because like, like I'm not a huge fan of that word, but um, but that spiritual divine energy that then like pours down. So
Uh-huh.
it's interesting that that gets replaced by lightning at some point.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. Very
Replaced by lightning or just a better picture of lightning. A new rabbit hole to discover.
There's always
Yeah.
there's always so many. There's not enough time in the day, truly, for my rabbit holes. Um, there were a lot. I thought that there were a lot of cool things like that about the majors, these like subtle differences or pieces of takes on it that maybe I haven't personally come across yet. Which is what I love so much about the study of tarot, is that there's always more to learn. You can always go deeper. You can always think about things in a different way. I just really appreciate being able to like stretch my mind like that and to consider things from different perspectives. And like even with the devil, I should have made a list of the cards that I found to be particularly interesting. But like the fact that this devil really kind of represents the Bernie relief, I had not thought
The
of.
what?
It's called the Bernie relief. You've seen it before. It's a an old Babylonian tablet. It's in the British Museum now, but it dates back to about 1800 BCE, and it is considered to be like the first depiction of Lilith, even though I think in like this book it said it's Ereshkigal,
Mm.
which is queen of the underworld. She's the Inanna's sister in the Inanna myth, which is very similar to the Persephone myth and similar to the Venus retrograde story, like this idea of this underworld journey. And if you look up a picture of the Bernie relief, you can see the that it looks you can see the correlation to the devil in the Marseille tarot. And so I found that to be really fascinating. Because I'm into that.
I'm looking up a picture of it right now. Okay, I see what you're talking about.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, well, while I was reading that, none of that absorbed into my brain. So I'm like, maybe I did skim it like Shanna. Maybe I didn't.
It is a lot. It is
Yeah.
I appreciated what Shanna said in our last video about like, in comparison to Rachel Pollack's kind of storytelling ability, like that this is so scientific.
My most interesting one I thought was The Fool, which normally, like, I just have pretty neutral feelings about The Fool. But I thought one little tidbit that I pulled from that I liked the best was the fool lives here and now, carries his past along with him at any moment, can reinterpret and give new meaning. So it's almost like here's his baggage, but like as he takes his stops through the rest of the majors, he can like unpack that baggage and then reinterpret it through the lens of whatever card he's in on the fool's journey. And focus on the present without useless concerns about the past or the future, living for the moment. So it was very much a be here now type of card. And I really like that energy. It's kind of how I read the wheel card, where it's like being in the center of the wheel and trying to be present amidst the chaos. So I thought it was interesting to interpret the fool in a similar kind of way.
So I didn't read The Fool. I didn't read The Fool.
Right.
Fool.
Yes.
No, it's fine. I thought about it. I'm like, should I read this real quick? I was like, whatever. But so I don't know if they talked about this in the book, is why I bring that up. But did they, or have you heard the bit about like the magician's bag being like what's in the fool's bag?
No, I don't think that was in there, but who knows? It could have been.
I remember that.
But like if you look at the magician and like the tools on the table, that's what the fool is carrying. There's like a lot of different theories and things out there about like what's in that bag,
Right.
Yeah.
Like
what you got in that bag?
What's got in there?
Like the fool makes one of those YouTube videos. Unpack my bag with me. What's in my bag?
I kind of love that shit.
I do too. It's so fun.
I'm like, I do want to know what's in your bag. And do I need it in my bag?
Oh my gosh. That's a really good video idea. So like we should each do a what's in my bag if I were the fool.
Oh, that
would be fun.
That is good. What would you
I like
carry
that.
with you? Oh my God, mine would be like a fucking suitcase.
Let's do it.
I am not a good I'm not a light packer at all.
Well, we're gonna do VRs to this.
Yes.
Oh, I liked the moon card a lot. I liked the moon and the sun more than I thought I was going to. I thought the sun was going to be like, yeah. But I thought that there was some interesting bits in the sun card. I even liked the difference of looking at the shape of the rays between the sun and the moon.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting.
And
I thought it was interesting that the sun was more protected than the moon. With the extra
with the wall,
yeah,
with the external wall.
Well, no, because it says where was it? Just where the sun, the yellow and the red like pokey parts.
Yes.
Are all...
Yes. Yeah, it's more like it's less jabby. Right.
Yeah, because it has the black lines too, so there's not really any place to really get stabbed.
Exactly. Yes. That's what I'm talking about. I thought that was very interesting.
Yeah.
Those differences. I also was very intrigued by in the moon card, like the bottom of the card.
I just had a spark of inspiration. No, you keep talking. I'll save it for the end.
No. Go ahead. Inspire.
So, it has those same dots as the lightning. So maybe it's not lightning and it's just them trying to depict light because they've got light coming off of the sun and light being reflected off of the moon.
Well, there is also even in the aces of the RWS, the Ace of Wands has those things, and they're considered to be yods,
Yes,
which,
I saw that somewhere too.
yeah, which are
But I think those are shaped
God. I think
different.
again that's like God energy. I think.
I think those are shaped differently though. Let me see if I can pull it out.
Yeah,
Because
like
the
these guys.
tower.
Here's this Ace of Wands in
Oh,
this.
you got one?
Yeah,
Okay.
but I mean these are shaped differently than the mana, the tower.
See,
Yeah,
because this is the yod shape. So then you've
yeah,
got that, you've
like
got the
pointy,
teardrop,
and
and
then
then
you've
you've got
got
the
the
dot.
circle.
Yeah. Interesting. I think that's all the cards, at least in this deck, that have it. Interesting.
Well, in the moon, I thought it was really interesting all of the detail that they went into about the rocks on the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Yeah, there's like a whole breakdown of like the shading of the rocks and how there's this growth over here in this space, this gap kind of in the middle. There's like a whole storyline around that. Here, let me see if I can find it in my notes really quick. Okay, so it's basically kind of like, that there is this emotional decline or depression that can be one of the facets of the moon card, and that there's a link between the moon and madness, right? But because we see the rocks at the bottom, it's kind of like knowing that there's a solid and reliable foundation down there. And that from left to right, we see, hold on, wait. Lower edge. Okay, here it is. Okay, so from left to right, if we look at the card, we see that above the pool, the horizontal axis of the card is blocked and offers no way towards the future. Like this crab kind of claw, this part of the pool, this boundary. And then um, at the lower edge, we see a change from barren shaded rocks on the left to clear and fertile ground on the right. And at the midpoint, the solid ground slash bottom almost disappears. But the lowest wave of water adds its yellow color to the rocks, which can represent getting help from others just at the most difficult moment, or blah, blah, blah. Like a golden treasure or something that can only be retrieved by going deep down. And so I've just always kind of looked at the moon card as, and they did talk about this in this book, about like everything's getting drawn up to the moon, right? Like the crustacean is crawling out, right? The dogs, the dog and wolf, or the dogs are like howling at the moon, everything. And I really liked this kind of change of perspective of like, yes, all of that's happening, and there's still this invitation to go way down. Like that
Despite
stood
all the
out to me
distraction.
in this, particular like card, take on the moon card in the Marseille. I thought that changed my perspective on my understanding of the moon.
I like that.
yeah, me too.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like when you look at those like little tiny details that like right there's like a little yellow line of water where
Oh,
there's a lot of things like that in this deck that I'm like, yeah, but is that just like a printing error with the
Yeah.
block printing,
yeah.
right? That now we're assigning all this meaning to, and yet I still really like all of the meaning being assigned to it.
Well, it's like he talked about a similar, I mean, that's kind of what I was saying in the last one. There's just all these little itty bitty things, but he was talking about the lines on the central figure of the Judgment card. And I was like, isn't that just like his back fat? I don't know.
Oh yeah, with the trumpet. He was talking about the lines of the trumpet, but it's also like the shape of then these little lines coming
Yeah.
down, which again is this like there's just a lot of that symbolism of
Yeah.
the drawing down,
Hmm.
right?
Yep. Was anyone else curious though? Like, I was like, okay, are we going to talk about the little white triangle under his bum? But no, we did not.
Oh, well, they did. Wait, didn't they talk
Didn't
about?
they? Did they?
Wait, I don't think I see that. What do you show me that?
Yeah. Just right underneath his bum. They talked about the white
Oh, mine
They
doesn't
talked
have
about the
that.
white.
between the figures, but not under like him specific, not the central figure.
Go to the right a little bit, Shanna. Yeah.
Oh,
But not the
that
the
way?
butt white.
Nope, the other way.
That way?
Yeah. Interesting. Mine doesn't really have that.
Yeah. Just little things that, are different in each deck. But I was like, I was looking at that one more closely. I was like,
Well,
huh,
that's like the abyss, right? That's abyss butt.
yeah, it's gotta be.
Oh, so separate topic. Do you want to hear about my other rabbit holes of this week?
Yes.
Okay, so one was that I really felt like I had to take another step back and learn more about the history of tarot. And one of my astrology friends, who's also a tarot tuber, and her channel is it's called Stellar Tarot Alchemy. Her name's Tammy, and she sent me a really great video um, that I think that we should link somewhere if anybody is interested in a good consolidation of the history of tarot in one place. It's by Colin Lowe. He does a video called A History of the Tarot. It's very comprehensive, very good. And I also spent a lot of time reading on a site called tarot-heritage.com that has a probably even more in-depth history of the tarot. It's like many pages. You can go through like the different eras and things. So I was just like spending a lot of time wrapping my brain around that. And something that I found to be like super interesting was that so around the time of the Visconti Sforza decks, right? And these ancient, these kind of like the original um, Italian decks that we have to reference. Around that same time, there was discovered an uncut printer sheet of cards, which kind of shows that there was also like this mass market decks happening, right? Which I think if you kind of step back and think about tarot as the card game that it was, it makes sense that it would kind of originate with the people, right? Before
Yeah.
the wealthy. Like the wealthy just had more funds to commission these decks that
Yeah.
were more that lasted more through time, that were painted versus just printed on paper. And um anyway, because remember when we had first talked about the history of the tarot and we were trying to figure out like, well, when does what came before Marseille and where is like how does it all fit together? And some of it's just hard to know because we only have so much to go off of. But like this uncut printer sheet was interesting to me for a couple of different reasons. Like one of them was that, just that, like, okay, that does show that these things are kind of all happening simultaneously in this particular region and then traveling up to France, right? But, and I had read about that printer sheet, but it wasn't until I watched this Collins video where he showed a picture of it and he talked about the fact that there was well, maybe it wasn't that printer sheet, but there was one from the 1700s. Yeah, okay, so there are two. There's like one that was back, like much older, that had been only we have because it was preserved in the back of somebody's book. Like they just stuck a sheet of paper in there or something, like we do. And then in the 1700s, there was this other uncut printer sheet that was numbered. So the first one didn't have any numbers on it. The second, this other one that I'm talking about, yeah, one in 1462. Sorry, this is how my brain is. 1462 was like a black and white wood block print, and it had pips, aces, and courts on it. So it's kind of showing this mass market wood block print. And then later on in like the 1700s, there's this other uncut printer sheet that has numbers on it, but the numbers are very different from what we are using. in the majors. And particularly, what I thought was so interesting was that it goes like the star was 16, the moon was 17, the sun was 18, judgment was 19, justice was 20, and the world was 21. So that layout of judgment, justice, the world really reflects the story in the book of Revelation, where you have the angel sounding the last trumpet on the day of judgment, then divine justice, the weighing of the soul, and then the descent of a heavenly city into a new world. And I was just fascinated by that because they did talk about that somewhere in this book about how, didn't they? Does that ring a bell?
I feel like yes, but I could not tell you where it was.
I know that's how I feel
Agree.
about it. But I think that they did talk about how like it doesn't line up that way because justice is back in the second line. But then hearing this, I was like, but wait, at some point, for someone out there somewhere, we know that it went in this other order. And I thought that was like very fascinating, especially because I do have this kind of like side thing happening in my brain about the connection of like this book I had showed you guys, this thesis about the tarot being like a way to pass along the Gnostic teachings of Jesus from Mary Magdalene versus like the, what's in the Bible type of thing. I'm not saying this well,
Mhm.
but like, so I have this whole kind of like religious side tangent happening with the tarot, and I found that particular ordering to be so interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that is.
I was like, wait a second, what? I'm like writing down the numbers from this.
It is
Whoa, what was the
also
big
very
number?
possible that it's just a printer error too. Because
That would be
like
funny.
there are decks that are out today that like people mess up the numbers and like it's possible if that's the only one out there that it could have just been like a printer error.
No,
And
there's just like a different numbering because all of the sheet contained like the magician was 1, temperance was 6, love was 8, strength was 9, the hermit was 11, the hanged man was 12, and then it skips to the star. Like there wasn't a complete deck, like so we don't know. But they were numbered, and I think that it fits the that mythology
Mhm,
of
mhm.
judgment, justice, and then the new world kind of, or whatever. I mean, it follows the book of the story in the book of Revelation, which I just found it to be interesting. I'm not saying like the tarot order is wrong or anything. It's just something to chew on.
Yeah,
Think about.
definitely.
So yeah, if anybody else is interested in like a more deep dive into the history of the tarot, I think that those two resources are really good.
I'll
And
link
then
those. We'll link them in the description.
And then the other kind of side tangent that I went down was I'd watched a video of Marlena Teresa's where she is talking about tarot as a language and using like tarot as grammar, right? Where she's talking about using coming up with keywords for the elements as verbs and then the numbers as nouns and then the quartz as adjectives. It's a really
Yeah.
great video. And then like formulating sentences that way, which kind of got me back into looking at the numerology of the tarot in particular, Pips and Marseille, in a different way. I thought that was really good. That was a really fun way to look at things.
I definitely watched that when I was watching the video we had linked a
Yeah,
couple
because
back.
she mentions it.
Oh, okay. All right. I'm like, that
Yeah.
sounds so super familiar.
Yeah, yeah. That one led to this one.
Got
So
it.
for sure. But then I was like, so I was playing around with numerology and this Tarot Correspondences by Susie Chang is like a great book. but she has some really interesting takes on the numerology that I thought were, you know, she's so great.
So for that book, is it just like a book full of charts of correspondences, or is it like text too?
It's everything. It's very comprehensive. I feel like there are a lot of tables
But
for
is
sure.
there also like paragraphs that describe things, or is it pretty much just tables?
Mm, I mean, there is stuff like this,
Okay.
but it's I think if you're looking for something more like that, maybe one of her other books.
Yeah, I just feel like
This is a reference book.
got it.
Like
Okay. All right.
for me, you could sit there and read it, but
Mm-mm.
like I'm not doing that.
Mm-mm.
But I turn to it often for like correspondences. So
So like how do you incorporate that? Like you pull cards and then you're like, I wonder what the correspondence for like how do you put that into practice?
no, this is like a rabbit hole resource
Okay. All right. Got it.
where
That
I'm more
yeah.
like, what about this? Like when I'm thinking about I'm not using this when I'm doing readings.
Okay, I
Like,
see.
I don't know, I almost feel like there are two different things for me. Like I have my practice of reading tarot, which is, I have a bunch of different ways that I even do that, right? But like then there's thinking about the tarot and learning about the tarot and my study of it and my lived experience of it that almost is like a different thing. And this is kind of what I was talking about in that video about like you don't even need a deck of cards to read tarot. Like it is a system of archetypes and um it's a language, right, that exists in the world and how we interrelate. And like Jamie has always been really big on that, and that's kind of who got me thinking about tarot this way, about like when you're walking down the street, like where do you see tarot? Where do you see the Ace of Wands, the Two of Wands? Like in what experiences of your life do these themes and meanings show up? And so it's like that I would use this for. But it's a great book, and the section about the numerology is interesting. And she also has a newer book out that I just ordered because Jamie has it, and every time we're talking about this stuff, she's like sending me pictures from it. And I'm like, I just have to get the book. It's like very good. I think it's called Four Elements, maybe. But I think that might be more like the paragraphs, the stuff, versus
Yeah.
the correspondence tables.
Okay. Yeah, I probably would vibe with that better.
So
You
yeah,
guys ready to move on
those were
to
my
aces?
those were my two tangents.
Tangents. They're valid.
What did you guys think of the aces? Yeah.
I thought they were interesting. The first thing that I thought was, I maybe I'm going to sound stupid saying this. It says the ace represents the suit symbol in its most developed form. And correct me if I'm wrong, I thought RWS was that the ace was in its least developed, like it was the seed that hadn't yet grown, and that it would grow
Right.
into the rest of the suit.
Oh, see, I took that as like in the RWS, it's the element in its pure form.
Okay.
Like that
Versus
the Ace of Cups is water.
in its most underdeveloped in RWS.
Not even underdeveloped, just complete. Like it's
Okay.
whole. Like a seed is complete, even though it's
That's
not.
true.
It has all of the potential for the growth contained within it, even though that hasn't manifested.
Happened yet.
It's like
Okay.
its most, and in that way, it's its most potent because if you think about it as a seed, it's like an acorn has an entire oak tree inside of it.
True.
An entire oak tree, this huge thing comes from that little itty bitty seed. So it's like in that way, it's all condensed into like everywhere. It's all condensed down into its, the small, that
Yeah.
amount of energy is in this one small thing.
Well, I had not ever thought about it like that before. So that was something that was new to me to sort of wrap my brain around. I liked it. I don't disagree with it. I was like, oh, okay. So yeah, that was the first thing that stood out to me.
I think that some of it can be a little bit hard to wrap your head around because one of the things that I wrote down for the Ace of Cups in particular is very similar to that thought process. So I wrote down the ace does not represent emotions itself, which is subtle and intangible. It symbolizes the human structures that provide space for emotion and love, such as family or relationships. So I think some of these ideas are just like very abstract and like trying to wrap your head around some of them, or it's like hard to grasp onto.
So that one in particular, I thought about as the cup as a vessel and container, right? It's the container for our emotional experience rather than the like this cup, right, is a container for like my tea in there. Like the tea would then be the emotion, but the cup is what can hold it,
Mm.
right? Like that's how I took that part, which I liked to think about it that way because it's so literal. Like I was like, oh, that's interesting. Like it's the cup, it's the container, it's the vessel that holds the space for the thing to exist within, right?
Mhm.
So then
Okay.
how do you transfer the understanding of the cup being like the space holder for the emotion into something like the swords? Like how
Thank
does
you.
that apply? It like I kind of get it for the seed and for the container, but like how does that continue to apply?
Well, here's where I think it's interesting with the imagery, especially in the Marseille, is that the coin and the cup are both their own thing. And then it's not until the ace and the wand where we have the hand come out and grab it, right?
True.
Like
Okay.
the if the coin is the seed and the potential, let's say, let's use that, and then the cup is the container and the vessel. It's like the sword and the wand are both, there's an interaction there with the
They
person
need they both
versus
need to be wielded.
exactly versus like in the, and I'm so glad you're bringing this up because as I had read it I was like thinking this and it didn't like land the way it's landing for me now in this conversation, is that like in the RWS you see the hand for all of them,
Yep.
right? And I really appreciated the differentiation with the Marseille that that's there's only a hand in two of them. And
And
that's
Mhm.
it's the hard suits, not the soft suits and the
yeah,
hard suits that have the
true.
yards.
True. Yeah,
Yeah.
so that's interesting. I
So
mean,
maybe the hard suits are more of like the taking and the soft suits are more of the, or I guess it would be the other way around. The soft suits would be the taking and receiving, and the hard suits would be the giving. Maybe, maybe I'm thinking that backwards.
no, I
Yeah.
I think that you're like onto something with that where it's more like I might say it that the hard suits are doing, taking action, right?
Mhm.
Because there's like we see there with you when your hand when you reach out and grab something, and that's always how I think about the aces in the RWS is that there's an offering, but you have to do the work to reach out and take it, right?
Mhm.
To do that, to take that step that's
Yeah.
being, it's the potential is there, but you have to participate in that to be an active participant. And I
Mm.
think that that maybe is something that comes across with the hard suits, like that you have to grab, wield, like Jay said, wield the baton, the sword. I mean,
Mm.
traditionally, like the feminine principle is more about receiving,
Right. The
right?
takers.
And
Mhm.
then the masculine principle is more about, um,
The give.
yes, the action.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Interesting. I had not thought about them that way. So I'm glad you asked, Jay, because I was thinking it and I'm like, so many questions.
No, I think it's some of those greater concepts are hard to really fully understand and like feel in your body that you're like, oh, I get this. And I wasn't there either. I'm noticing one other thing that I just want to point out quickly. In this Ace of Cups, it looks like that little bird that you pointed out in your Bacchus.
In the Two of Swords. It
Yeah.
does. Yeah.
It like just the shape of that bird is very odd, and I feel like it looks just like that one. If you can pull it out.
He's in the star as well.
Wow, let me see.
At least in the book he is. I don't know if he's on the card.
Do you remember it being pointed out in the book? Because I don't remember anything about that guy.
Yes, I do. Because I was like,
I
oh,
do.
bird.
I remember.
You're
I remember
right.
it.
Yeah.
I remember the bird being pointed out. What did it say
Yeah.
about it?
Let's see.
Little bird.
I know. Anything with bird.
Oh my gosh. And I used the Empress to cover up the naked star, but she has the bird too.
Well, that's a
Yeah.
black eagle, and that has its own significance. Um, that's its own thing. But the bird was mentioned in the star.
Or
You've
the
got to be
star,
kidding.
the bird on the tree might be the silhouette of a dove, referring to the story of Pleiades fleeing their pursuer. Alternatively, its
Just
black color may indicate uncertainty and danger. In this aspect, the querent may find themselves exposed and defenseless in front of a threat. So,
and the Pleiades are the seven sisters,
oh,
right?
okay.
Because it was tied into that mythology. Here's that little bird.
Okay.
He's so cute. I love
So
him.
He is
cute.
cute.
It's so
I'm
interesting.
bummed that I don't have a bird in either of my decks.
Give me a bird. Oh,
I
so
know.
speaking of decks, I have to give Aldana a shout out because she reached out to me after our last episode and talked about how she had soaped her matinee, that she watched a video on soaping that Honey Lou posted, like a
Uh-huh.
how-to. And so I soaped this deck and I am obsessed with it.
Oh yeah.
Really?
Yes, it is such a difference. It's like amazing. Like it
What
just
does it feel like now?
I was trying to think about if I thought that you would like it or not, because it doesn't feel as when I first did it, it did feel kind of lotiony.
Uh-uh.
I know, and I was so I was
Uh-uh.
gonna tell you like don't feel bad about not having yours anymore and soaping it because I don't know if you would enjoy the
Oh no.
uh,
No, no. I
yeah,
hate the feeling of lotion on my
so
hands. Like,
do not feel FOMO about it is
no,
my
I didn't. I didn't. I knew that she had soaped hers and said that it was like really nice cardstock now, but yeah,
It
I've
does
never
change
soaped
it.
her.
Well, okay, here, look at this. So remember how it had a very bad bow?
Uh-huh.
Oh,
Wow, that's impressive. You think the soap did that?
Yes. Isn't
That's
that
shocking.
crazy?
How much
When
soap did you put on?
she sent me a picture of her deck after like in a little video of like I soaped it and this is what it does now and this is what it looks like and I was like I am doing that because
what kind of
Wow.
soap do you use?
it just okay, well that was the hardest part. And when she can you now please envision me standing at the health food store in front of all of the soap being like
What
like
shall I put on my tarot deck?
like which of these so Aldana had said that like she used and recommended like a goat's milk base
Hmm.
that was not too strongly like neutrally scented type of thing, so that is what I ended up using, but it was I stood there way too long.
So
That's
did you
awesome.
pick just a plain smell or does
It
it
was
have a scent?
the hardest part about this was picking the soap. I picked like an almond,
Oh, nice.
which it doesn't smell on the cards. It does smell kind of strong, the soap itself. But yeah, I'm very, very happy about that because it's changed the whole deck for me. It's really made it enjoyable to like handle and use and read with. So thank you for that. And Honey Lou's video is really great. on how to do it. So if
I
anybody,
did watch Honey Lose. Oh, it was like 2 years ago or something, wasn't
yeah,
it?
wants to
Yeah.
soak your deck.
Yeah.
How long did it take you to soap it?
Not as long as it would take you to edge a deck.
Ooh, okay. And does the soap obscure the image at all?
No,
Okay, cool.
not at all. But it does change I think that it would be best on cardstock that is papery because
Okay.
it's a laminating technique, right?
Mhm.
Mm.
So you know that
You have to
cardstock,
redo it every so often.
I think you probably would after some years. I
Yeah.
imagine that it might
But
lose.
maybe where it's easier to use, you're going to use it more and break it in that much more. So then you might not have to redo it.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly. But yeah, that was
Cool.
exciting. I'm excited
Yeah,
about that.
that's awesome. I just pulled up the star card in the Tarot Day Ozarks, and it doesn't have a bird, but it does have a little butterfly.
Oh, that's so pretty.
That is
So
pretty.
I'll take that.
Yeah.
Sorry for the naked lady, too.
All
That
right.
little bird is so cute.
So, what do we got coming up this week? We have our break, which Erin, you're very excited about.
Yeah, I
There's
need it.
some there's some optional reading for overachievers. So, there's chapters 10, 11 and 12, which are like very they're like you've got the number card interpretations. So, oh no, that's chapter 10.
We did
We
that.
we did that. We've got the additional spreads. So I might just take a peek at those and try practicing with them. And then chapter 12 is quick interpretation. So it's like an overview of everything.
I've been using
Oh, okay.
that section just as like, when I'm just doing my readings or whatever. I've been
That's a good idea.
flipping through that as like that's like the guidebook, right?
Yeah, at the back. And then after spring break, we have getting through all the courts. So week 10 is coins and cups, and week 11 is wands and swords. And then we'll be done.
Wow.
Amazing.
Shanna, are you planning on doing any of the spring break activities, or are you going to give yourself a rest?
It depends. I'm actually headed out of town with my husband for our 30th wedding anniversary. So I'll take the
Oh
book
my gosh,
and I'll probably
congratulations.
have time to read, but yeah. So we'll see.
Awesome. Congrats.
Yeah. Thank you.
Wow.
Where are you
Yeah.
going? We can cut this part out if you don't want to share with the world.
I probably will cut it out. We're gonna go on a cruise. So yeah, we'll see.
Well, I hope you have a good vacation otherwise.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, it'll be good. I'm excited.
that's fun.
I'm so glad that you planned your vacation around our study week,
I
our
know.
break.
Well, it's funny, like 2 weeks ago, I was like, okay, what am I gonna miss? What do we need to do? And I was like, oh, it's spring break. It's perfect. So
Oh, it's
I
so
won't miss
perfect. You're
anything.
going on spring break vacation. You're like
Yeah.
literally
Literally.
doing it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's too funny.
Awesome. Well, this one was fun. I liked the aces.
Yeah, me too.
Felt like a break from the majors, but I did like that one.
Yeah. And
I liked our
courts,
conversation about the aces.
yeah.
That
Yeah.
helped me. Like,
Agreed. Solidify it.
yeah, get something in there. All
Sunny.
right,
All
so we'll
right.
see you guys in 3 weeks, right?
Yes.
Yes.
3 weeks.
Yep.
We'll be back with our final video. So, yeah, make sure you
Wow.
guys like and subscribe and leave us comments on how the study's going for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.